Can I tell my story? Let me tell y'all what I see.
I couldn't imagine being so bored that I would actually care at all about what somebody else wears to the rodeo. I couldn't imagine giving a single solitary fuck. Like, I went to the rodeo a couple days ago and I don't remember what nobody had on.
From people complaining in Houston, about girls' booties being out at the rodeo. But I'm like, it's always butt out at the rodeo. It's always butt out in Houston. Every time I've been in Houston, everybody had ass out. And Houston got some thick ass girls.
I'm not concerned about my daughter seeing something, whatever, inappropriate, because I have not taught my daughter to people watch while we out in public.
So, every time, granted, I was only there for a couple days, and I wasn't there during spring break, so it might have been like a lot, you know what I'm saying? But I was seeing video after video. I'm like, it really must have been ass everywhere, because I'm like, it was coming from the guys, which I was shocked.
I don't make comments on other people's outfits and bodies when I'm out in public to my daughter. So she hasn't normalized that. That's the part y'all missing. Y'all have normalized with y'all children picking people apart while they in public.
I don't care what anybody says, but what I wore to the Houston rodeo should have been the least of y'all concern. So this was the outfit I wore, and I posted a walking video. Number one, I was wearing American Eagle shorts to the rodeo. I did not search up butt cheek shorts. I did not get any shorts from a boutique. I got them from American Eagle, and I know a lot of people shop.
You're the problem.
Number two, my behind was not out. When you're walking, obviously things are going to rise up.
Because y'all know y'all like looking at ass, okay? Let's stop.
I am not slim. I am not skinny in the back. Naturally, when I walk, things rise up.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
I did not buy those shorts so that they could rise up on the back of me. Those shorts were created by American Eagle.
I ain't seen no ass out. Y'all said it was gonna be ass out at the rodeo. It was no ass out.
Like that. I usually wear a size 4. Those shorts are a size 6.
Aw, shit. Get your tea and your popcorn because we have hit yet another psychological jackpot. Ghetto fatigue? That's right. The Houston rodeo was filled with belugas, butt cheeks, and BBLs. So much so to the point where they literally have changed the dress code. And you've got people in the black community saying that, oh, this is anti-black, it's misogynoir. Meanwhile, it was not just black women that were showing their butt. And I just want to make it clear that the Houston Rodeo is actually an event that's created to raise money for children. Okay, so this is literally a children's family-friendly type of event. And I will show some screenshots of some of the types of outfits people were wearing. But I just think this is very interesting because it's another one of those bad social climbing tactics. You see a lot of women online complaining about how they have a bad collective image, or they complain about like being pumped and dumped or being treated like they're less than when it comes to relationships. They complain about being over-sexualized. They complain about how people don't respect their bodies. But then you have women who are dressing so embarrassing in front of children. This is not an adult event. I think it would be different if like maybe you went to a concert or something like that, or a cookout or whatever, and then you want to be sexy. Okay, that's fine. But this is a family-friendly children's event. And you had women there who were so desperate for the male gaze, so desperate to attract the baby daddies, that they don't care that they're literally traumatizing children. Imagine forcing underage boys to look at your butt. And I also want to talk about that as well, because have you noticed that in the black community, you'll hear black women saying, oh, we need to teach that little boy to be attracted to dark-skinned black women. And it's like, why are there grown women worried about the sexual preferences of underage boys? And why are there grown women showing their cheeks in front of underage boys and girls when they know that this is a family-friendly event? But let's get into the psychology of why people do this. Number one, it's attention seeking. It's like, ma'am, do you need attention that bad? Remember how I talked about women being validation starved and how when women don't grow up getting validation from their own family members, they try to do all of these outlandish things so they can get attention. So we've seen a trend of women complaining on YouTube or complaining on TikTok about how nobody likes them. So that's an attention-seeking method. And now we've got women showing their cheeks in front of children, which is another attention-seeking mechanism. Have you ever noticed that women who don't have any power in society, the only way that they can get attention is by having a shock factor? So when you see these images of these obese women with like their butts hanging out and stuff, I think that part of why they're doing that is for the shock factor. They want people to look at them and be shocked and surprised, like, oh my God, is she really wearing that? So it's almost this mindset of negative attention is better than no attention. And there are some women where they just prioritize the male gaze so much that they don't care about there being children around. They don't care about overexposing themselves in front of their own children or in front of other people's children. It's a desperation to get male attention. It's a desperation to maintain desirability. Remember how in some of my other videos I talked about how certain women have desirability anxiety? So that is this mindset of not knowing where you stand, in terms of desirability, not knowing if you have options or people who like you, not knowing whether or not you're actually beautiful. Another way that you can tell a woman has this type of mindset is when you ask a woman, hey, what's your best feature? And then she says her ass. It's like, okay, you're literally admitting to me that you don't think your face is pretty. You don't think your 4C hair is pretty. You don't think your complexion is your best feature. You literally think that a pair of cellulite butt cheeks looks better than your face. And this is proof of that. And one of the cultural differences I've noticed too is there are some women where they've never been anywhere. They've only ever been to ratchet environments. They've only ever been to smexualized environments. They don't go out unless they are smexualizing themselves. And so sometimes they're not even being malicious. Like they don't have bad intentions towards the children or anything, but they literally just have never been anywhere. They've never been invited to kind of more classy spaces. They've never gone outside for anything wholesome. And so all they do is literally go to work, come home, overeat, and then they go out and smexualize themselves. And so they're kind of keeping this habit. And another thing too is kind of this rebellious energy. Have you ever been around women who, I don't want to say that they're social justice warriors, but like sometimes they have this mindset of my body, my choice, but I feel like they take it to the extreme because they want to force other people to look at their private parts when nobody else wants that. And, it's kind of like, I would call it a spin-off of feminism, I guess. I guess I would call it a more extreme version of feminism. You guys know that this actually is a feminist-leaning channel, but I just feel like forcing underage children to look at your butt, that's taking it too far. That has nothing to do with politics. I don't think that's empowering. And I think sometimes women make that excuse where they're like, oh, well, I don't conform. I don't care what people think of me. I don't give a fuck. So it's kind of like this rebellious energy. It's almost like they're performing confidence. It's false confidence. I don't care. I can wear what I want anywhere I want. But then when they get banned, then they start saying that people are being racist or fatphobic. Also, Black women are the main ones saying things like, oh, I don't want to be over smexualized. But you've got women who are going out and it's almost this mindset of, I have to be seen as sexy regardless of the consequences. If I tone it down, if I dress modestly, or if I dress normally, then I'm not fully myself. I'm going to be invisible. You know how women complain about being invisible? This is one of their only ways to be visible. It's by literally showing their cheeks without getting paid. It's one thing if you are an actual OF girl or ex-worker or something, somebody who's getting paid, that makes more sense. But just doing this stuff for free, just allowing every dusty at the rodeo to just look at your butt, or trying so hard to get attention to the point where you have to show every part of your body, or wearing stuff that's like see-through or whatever. And I think another thing too is for a lot of women who are bigger, they have been told by people like, oh, you can't wear that. You can't wear strapless. You can't wear see-through. You can't wear a miniskirt. So I think that's another thing too. It's like the body positivity movement gone wrong. And the fact that people are blaming the dress code change on isms like colorism, racism, and then also they're blaming it on fat phobia as well, I think that's just ridiculous. Like, how is it colorism that people don't want to see your butt in front of their underage children? And also, whenever women hide behind isms, It actually makes people devalue their talking points. It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, where every single time he's crying and complaining, eventually, when something really does happen for real, nobody's going to believe them. And I think that's exactly what has happened when it comes to the black community, when it comes to isms, and when it comes to fat phobia as well. You're calling everything a phobia and an ism, and you're literally trying to enforce your social norms on others. It's like, okay, ma'am, did you pay for the rodeo? Is that your event? Did you sponsor this event? Like, are you in charge of the event? Because if not, then you don't get to go in there and just demand that they meet your needs. That's not how things work. Usually the actual business owner or the people in charge, they get to decide the dress code. And if you don't like it, just don't go to the event. Don't go to the rodeo. And this kind of reminds me of that situation a few months ago with Carnival Cruises, how there were a bunch of people that were like being obnoxious. And then they banned people from bringing those fans on the boats. And like, I think they were going to have a curfew and everything. And by the way, this whole dress code scenario, it's actually a spin-off of Coming from a Broken Home, because if you really think about it, some people, they don't separate family friendly or children's environments from adult environments. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of adultification of children or parentification. So sometimes with little black girls, they get adultified when they're young. They don't get to have a sense of girlhood. They don't get to have a sense of childhood. And so I think that for some of the women who were showing their cheeks in front of the children, I think part of it comes from that. They didn't get to have a childhood. Maybe they grew up seeing their mom showing her cheeks, or they grew up in front of like some crazy stuff when they were children. And so they have no need to protect children because they themselves were never protected. They themselves were never cared for. Nobody cared when they were in the room. You know, nobody tried to give them a wholesome environment. And so it's this mindset of why bother? If I suffered as a child, you're going to have to suffer as a child. If I had to sit back and stay out of grown folks' business, then these kids at the rodeo need to sit back and stay out of grown folks' business. And when it comes to this whole thing about being validation starved, I've noticed that for some women who don't get attention, they use their smexuality as a way to kind of emotionally regulate themselves. So attention seeking is a form of emotional regulation. Have you ever been around the women who feel dysregulated when they are invisible? If no one's looking at her, she feels invisible, she feels angry, she's cranky, she's in a bad mood. Have you ever had a friend like this where maybe the two of you go out and you're the one who's getting a lot of attention? And maybe she doesn't get attention. So then suddenly she wants to leave really fast. You know, she starts being mean to you. She starts getting snippy. She starts getting in a bad mood. That's another side effect as well of being validation starved. Their worst nightmare is not getting any sexual attention. For some women, they really do view sexual attention as the most powerful form of attention. And so they have to get that everywhere they go because they don't have multiple sources of micro validation. And this is why I tell you, Exoticals, make sure that you always have several different sources of beauty, different sources of attention, like positive attention, and different sources of positive validation, because then you won't be so desperate to the point where you're willing to traumatize children just so you can like get a couple of second glances. Because my question for those women is like, what did you gain? Like when you walked into the rodeo with your BBL out or with your boobs out and stuff, like what did you gain? Did you get any free food? Did you get free drinks? And also, was it worth it? Doing all that so you could get a free drink at the rodeo? And by the way, the employees working at the rodeo stands are usually teenagers. They're usually underage people themselves. So it's like, okay, were you trying to get free drinks from the underage boys who work at the turkey leg stand? Like, what was the point of doing that? What kind of social status and what do you have to gain from showing yourself like this in a children's setting? And this also reminded me of why I enjoy having thin privilege, because nobody will ever be able to take a picture of the back of my thighs and get the rodeo canceled. You will never be able to take a picture of my stomach hanging out and then have them create a whole new dress code because I look that bad. That many people are offended. Do you know how many people attend the Houston Rodeo? There are hundreds of thousands of people who fly in to attend the rodeo. Like, do you know how many people have to complain for it to get all the way back to the people who are in charge of the entire thing? And some people are like, oh, well, society polices fat bodies more harshly. Society polices black women more harshly. Society is policing me. And it's like, okay, them creating a dress code for their event, that's not them policing you personally. That's just them saying, hey, if you purchase a ticket to my event, this is what you have to wear. Do you feel policed when you go into a job interview? Oh, they're policing me because they're making me wear a blazer. They're policing me because I have to wear a button-up shirt to work. I don't see you doing that when it comes to making your money and getting a job. So why is it that suddenly when it comes to a family-friendly environment, you want to push back and you want to fight back? Why? I feel like part of it is because the Houston Rodeo attracts so many people. For some women, this is the most they'll ever be seen in their lives. Think about it. This is the one time where she gets to be seen in front of thousands of people at a carnival. She's walking around for hours, thousands of people see her. And some women, they actually romanticize going to crowded places because they feel like, this is where my Prince Charming billionaire white husband is going to show up. This is where my billionaire boomer boyfriend is going to be. He's going to be at the rodeo, so let me make sure that I have my little thong outfit on so that he can notice me in the crowd. So it's like this desperation for visibility. It's a desperation for attention. And it's like you're prioritizing the male gaze above children. And how many of you guys have been around those types of pick-me mothers where they prioritize men over their kids? They prioritize getting his attention over the protection of her daughters or sons. I just feel like some women who are dressing like this at the rodeo, especially if those women have children or, knowing that it's a children-focused event, there's no way that you could go to a carnival and not expect children to be there. So this is also, it's not ignorance, because it's not like you're going to Coachella or something like that where you don't really expect children. No, this is an event where they literally have merry-go-rounds. They have like popcorn and cotton candy. It's a typical carnival. So these women who are wearing these clothes, they knew that kids were going to be there. But being chosen for the male gaze was more important. And then I saw some people were like, oh, well, what if I wanted to take pictures? I wanted to be cute and post my pictures on social media. Okay, why did you have to post it on social media in front of the children, though, at the event? Why can't you just put on that outfit at home and then take the picture at home? Like, you're doing all this just so you could have the rodeo in the background? Like, you could have photoshopped a fake background. They literally have apps right now where you can put a picture of yourself and just change the background. You went through all that drama. You drove through traffic. You dealt with parking. You paid for the public transportation. You traveled or you flew into town or you came from far away so you could be in front of children showing your cellulite just so you could get an Instagram picture for free. These are not influencers. These are not people who are getting paid or people who get opportunities. These are just random women who are just doing this for free. So do you see how it's a bad social climbing tactic? Oh, I'm doing all this just so I could post a couple of stories that only last 24 hours. I'm doing all of this so I can post a couple of thirst traps and hopefully I will get Devontae's attention. Hopefully I will get Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. He'll search up my Instagram and then he'll see my jean thong and then he'll just fall in love with me and then we'll live happily ever after. And then I saw some people saying, oh, well, that's black culture. No, that's incorrect. That is not black culture. Black culture is not a monolith. And also, I thought that black women didn't want to be seen just based on like their asses. So why are you now saying that showing your ass is just black culture? Having your cheeks hanging out, what are you talking about? That's just black culture. We're not trying to show off. That's just how people dress in the black community. And it's like, which one is it? Do you want to be sexualized or not? But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.